Another great show on tap for today's Philadelphia Eagles now, but first, we're in a sub-battle with some NFC East foes, the fraudulent Dallas Cowboys and the joke that is the franchise of the New York Giants. And as you can see, we're doing really well here on Eagles now, approaching 50,000 subscribers. The Cowboys report they have fans all across the nation. America's team, what a joke. But they have 156,000 plus subscribers, but we're crushing the New York Giants, which is great, as they are approaching 30,000 subscribers. Look, this is my sales pitch. If you're looking for year-round coverage of the Birds, that's informative, entertaining, insightful, I have you covered right here on the show as a guy who grew up in the Philadelphia area. So hit that sub button, and if you don't, I'm going to convince you why you should with our coverage on the tap for today's show. All right, let's do it. I'm Chase Sr. This is Philadelphia Eagles now, and coming your way on today's show, could the Eagles offense be better in 2023 than they were in 2022 when they were setting records amidst this franchise history? Because Brian Johnson, who is the new Eagles offensive coordinator and taking over for Shane Steichen, has a long-standing relationship with Jalen Hurts, and his pedigree as a coach very, very impressive. I do believe that the Eagles are going to have a sizable drop between Steichen and Brian Johnson. I'll explain here coming up here in just a few moments. But first, today's show would not be possible if it wasn't for our great sponsor in RexMD, the #1 leader in men's telehealth. See for yourself at rexmd.com/chat. Fellas, do you sometimes lack confidence in the bedroom? Do you wish you could have a more fulfilling sex life? Well, you're not alone. That's why we're excited to tell you about RexMD, the online source for men's wellness. RexMD offers an easy and discreet way to get the medication you need for ED without having to visit a doctor's office. With just a few clicks, you can have your medication delivered straight to your door and at a fraction of the cost of traditional pharmacies. RexMD's team of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and their medication is made right here in the great USA, so you can trust its quality. Plus, their customer support team available 24/7 to answer any questions or concerns you may have. So, if you're ready to take control of that sex life, get it going in the bedroom, and say goodbye to ED, head on over to rexmd.com/chat. Start your consultation today. Take advantage of their best deal they've ever offered and save up to 90% off and only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. That's rexmd.com/chat. Limited time deal. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our listeners to get started. That's rexmd.com/chat for up to 90% off. So let's circle back to the topic at hand for today's program. Eagles offense, could it be better in 2023 than it was in 2022 because of Brian Johnson's relationship with Jalen Hurts? That's really important to have that symbiotic relationship, as we'll unpack here. And his pedigree as a coach has been really impressive. When he was at Utah, he was a phenomenal quarterback, led Utah to a Sugar Bowl victory back in the day. He goes back to where he started after a short professional playing career, was the quarterback's coach and offensive coordinator from 2010 to 2013. Then he goes to Mississippi State. That's where he worked with Dak Prescott from 2014 to 2016. Houston has always had some high-powered offenses, and there he was the offensive coordinator and quarterback's coach. He was at Florida for 3 seasons with Dan Mullen, 2018 to 2020. That's where he began some of his work and tutelage of Kyle Trask when he was the OC and quarterback's coach. And what a great hire by Nick Sirianni to identify his ascent, his growth as a coach. He hired him when he came on board in Philly to replace Doug Peterson as quarterback's coach, and now Brian Johnson is the team's OC as Shane Steichen is now the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. In NFL circles, everything that I've heard, everything that I've seen, everything that I've read, Brian Johnson is considered to be a rising star in the coaching business. It would not surprise a lot of people if he was a head coach come 2024 because of how people respect his football acumen. And the Eagles were certainly going to miss Shane Steichen, who did a great job in developing Justin Herbert as he had a record-breaking rookie season, and we saw the growth and the trajectory upward for Jalen Hurts over the last couple of years. And a lot of that thanks to Shane Steichen and his development. But Brian Johnson has also played a role in Jalen Hurts' development because he's been his quarterback's coach the last 2 years. And what have we seen from Hurts? He's improved as a passer, as a guy in this league who's gotten better with his completion percentage. His mechanics have been cleaned up a little bit, his pocket feel. All of that has taken a leap, thanks in part to Brian Johnson. So can Johnson's relationship with Hurts help him be successful in year one as an offensive coordinator, and then in turn allow this Eagles offense to reach new heights? Tim McManus of ESPN, with a great article on Brian Johnson. He had no prior history with newly minted Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni or then offensive coordinator Shane Steichen before interviewing for the quarterback's coaching job in January of 2021. The first time the three met was when they walked into the NovaCare complex together that day. They ended up talking ball for 8 hours, and not once did Johnson mention that he had known Jalen Hurts, the Eagles' second-round pick in 2020, since he was in preschool. That Johnson was coached by Hurts' father, Averion, as a high school quarterback and was close with the entire family, that he recruited Hurts to join him at Mississippi State and later the University of Florida, and that he was one of the first to see in Jalen what others might have missed. So to summarize that really, and Brian Johnson, by the way, did say about that, I didn't want to really put that out there. For him to not mention that he hasn't known Jalen Hurts since he was like a young puppy is pretty impressive. I respect that because Brian Johnson wanted to let his coaching acumen, his knowledge of the game of football, and his pedigree and resume as a coach to do the talking. He didn't want to get hired just because he was close and knew Jalen Hurts as well as his father. And here's really where it becomes important, right? The relationship between Brian Johnson as well as Jalen Hurts. When a quarterback's relationship with this offensive coordinator is symbiotic, it can lead to a lot of success on the field. Brian Johnson is the one who's going to be in Jalen Hurts' ear calling the plays. In these meeting rooms, in the lead up to some of these matchups, Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts are going to be game planning together to try to find ways to expose the opponent. And if Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts can see the game eye to eye, and I think that there's a realistic chance of that being the case because of their long-standing relationship of Hurts' dad coaching Brian Johnson and Johnson knowing Hurts since he was a kid, then yes, this offense can take another leap. And this offense can be better from a year ago in which they were one of the most productive offenses in the history of this organization. Points per game, number 2 in the NFL last year. Yards per game, number 3. Points per play, number 3. Third down conversion percentage, checking in, 3rd overall among 32 teams in the NFL. Their fourth down conversion percentage, 68.7. That was good for 4th. Red zone scoring percentage, converting them into touchdowns, 68.7%. That was good for number 3. Touchdowns per game, 3.5. That was a top all teams in the NFL. And then yards per rush, 4.7. That was good for number 10. And Johnson has been in Jalen Hurts' life the last 2 years professionally, 2021 and in 2022. And you see the rise here, and you see the growth on display for Jalen. 61% in 2021 was his completion percentage. He threw for 210 yards per game, a quarterback rating of 87.2. And then this past year, that's when he really took the league by storm. Runner-up in MVP voting behind Patrick Mahomes. His completion percentage from year 1 to year 3 has gone up from about 52 to 66.5. Yards per game passing has also increased, and his quarterback rating has gone up from 77 to 101.5. Of course, Hurts deserves credit for that, but so too does the coaching of Brian Johnson, who again is helping Hurts every step of the way here as his quarterback's coach. And Hurts last year, it's hard to get better than this. And my favorite element of this is how many times Hurts had his hands on the football. 460 passing attempts, with 165 rushes and how few times he put the ball in harm's way and he turned it over. Only 6 interceptions and 2 lost fumbles. Decision-making is paramount for a quarterback. Sometimes that does come down to coaching. Accuracy, very important. That's been a part of Hurts's growth as a quarterback in this league, and that's really what came full circle last year, and could he be even better this upcoming season in 2023? So let's ask you this. Will the Eagles' offense be better or worse this upcoming season? B for better, W for worse. Let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because training camp starts in 2 weeks. That's when the Eagles report, and that's when our coverage is really going to get ramped up here on the program.